Hello, our mighty Saurus and Sora. It is a nice day to learn about fossils, dinosaurs, and many other prehistoric creatures, isn't it? Well, the history of humanity is just a small part of the history of life on Earth. If we compare the history of life on Earth to 24 hours of a day, the history of humanity is equivalent to only 7 short seconds. Therefore, there are many things we have never seen, but they did exist and walk on our planet long before us. Thus, it is not surprising that there are life forms whose fossils, when seen, even the most imaginative people cannot fathom how they survived with such strange appearances. And with the fragmentary and incomplete nature of fossils, accurately reconstructing their appearance is an extremely challenging task for scientists. For example, when it comes to elephants, no one is unfamiliar with the image of the elephant with its trunk going first, ears like big fans, and 4 legs as big as pillars. But did you know that elephants and their relatives were once much more diverse? Today, let's join us to explore some of the strangest forms that ever existed in the lineage of elephants and their relatives. Are you ready? Let's get started. First, let's learn a bit about the lineage of elephants. Elephants belong to a family of animals called Elephantidae. Today, this family only has 2 existing genera, the Asian elephant and the African elephant, alongside extinct genera like mammoths and straight-tusked elephants. The Elephantidae family is the only surviving family of a highly diverse order of animals called Proboscidea. As the name suggests, this order includes animals whose noses have evolved into flexible proboscises, or trunks to aid in feeding and other activities, partly because they have evolved to achieve gigantic sizes, with large and heavy skulls while having relatively short necks, so they need trunks to reach food or water. Another characteristic evolutionary feature of the Proboscidea order is tusks. Around the middle of the Paleocene epoch, a group within the Proboscidea order called Elephantiforms appeared. In addition to having large bodies and flexible trunks, their upper and lower incisors evolved into continuously growing tusks, along with elongated lower jaw joints. The development of tusks in the lineage of elephants is also highly diverse. While modern elephants only have tusks growing from the upper jaw, not all species in the Elephantiforms group are like that. Some have tusks only in the lower jaw, such as Dinotherium, but some have tusks in both the upper and lower jaws, like Gomphotherium. The strangest among the Elephantiforms are those species that have tusks in both the upper and lower jaws, like Gomphotherium, but the lower tusks are flat and combined with elongated lower jaw joints to form a structure resembling a shovel. The most typical of such species is Platybelodon. In 1927, Russian paleontologist Alexei Baryshyak completed the description of a new genus and species within the Proboscidea order, which he named Platybelodon danovi, meaning Danov's flat-tusked elephant, based on fossils dating to the Miocene epoch in the northern Caucasus Mountains. In 1928, new fossils with similar characteristics were found in Mongolia and were received by American paleontologists Henry Fairfield Osborn and Walter Granger. Initially, they thought this was a new species within the genus Amebelodon, another trunked animal genus described and named in 1927. However, a few years later, they changed their minds and identified it as a new species within the genus Platybelodon of Alexei Baryshyak before deciding to name it Platybelodon grangeri, meaning Granger's flat-tusked elephant, in 1932. As mentioned, like modern elephants, Platybelodon also had upper tusks, although they were somewhat short. But the strange part lies in the lower jaw, where the lower tusks seem to have been flattened. Yes, flattened. Although these tusks were not long, combined with the unusually elongated lower jaw joints, the lower jaw of Platybelodon looked like a long big spoon or a shovel. A mouth that looked extremely unusual and seemed not to appear in any other species in the lineage of elephants, as well as modern animals. Although it is said to be strange, that is, from a human perspective. In their era, this did not seem strange at all. In Mongolia, paleontologists excavated a large number of Platybelodon grangerii fossils of various ages, showing the prevalence of this species in the ecosystem. Moreover, the number of species with similar characteristics to Platybelodon is not small, and paleontologists have grouped them into a completely separate family within the Proboscidea order, Amoebelodontidae, named after Mebalodon, a Proboscidean genus discovered in Nebraska, USA, in 1927. Besides Amoebelodon and Platybelodon, this family includes about 10 other genera, with a wide distribution range from Africa to Eurasia and North America. Initially, scientists classified the species in the Amoebelodontidae family into another trunked animal family, Gomphotheridiidae, because they all had slightly converging lower tusks. However, while the tusks of Gomphotheridiidae species remained pointed, the tusks of Amoebelodontidae species were flat. Therefore, they decided to consider Amoebelodontidae as a separate family within the Elephaniformes group. Scientists, based on phylogenetic analysis of the Amoebelodontidae family, believe that this Proboscidean family originated in Africa in the early Miocene epoch before spreading to other continents. They only became completely extinct in the early Pliocene epoch, about 5.3 million years ago. Platybelodon was slightly smaller than modern elephants. Adults could be 3 meters long and weigh 2 to 3 tons. Except for the special lower jaw, they might look quite similar to modern elephants. The upper tusks were somewhat short, showed no signs of wear, and there were differences between the tusks of male and female elephants, so they were probably not used for fighting or feeding but for display to gain an advantage in sexual selection. The large number of specimens from Mongolia allowed paleontologists like Osborne and Granger to study the development stages of Platybelodon thoroughly, even identifying a specimen as an unborn calf, drawing initial conclusions about how they used their strange mouth structure. The specimen believed to be an unborn calf showed that young Platybelodon did not have the shovel-like structure of their parents' mouths. Only when they were a few years old did young Platybelodon begin to develop the lower jaw into a Y shape, with the lower tusks growing larger over time. When fully grown, the shovel, as we know it, was completely formed. The part we can consider the head of the shovel was almost as wide as the back of the lower jaw, but the middle part was significantly narrowed before reaching the area with molars. When viewed from the side, we see that the lower jaw of Platybelodon truly had a part that was concave to form a real shovel shape, compared to the relatively flat lower jaw of Amoebelodon. What was the function of this structure? Osborne and some of his colleagues believed that Platybelodon and its relatives with similar lower jaws used it to dig soil and mud to find plants. This hypothesis was proposed by Osborne based on the beveled edges of the 2 flat lower tusks. Additionally, Platybelodon fossils were often found near what were believed to be water bodies, such as ponds or shallow streams. He suggested that they were beveled due to contact with smooth rocks at the bottom of ponds or shallow streams during the search for food, with the support of a short and wide trunk. Of course, the trunk is soft and does not fossilize, so the image of a short and wide trunk is entirely Osborne's conjecture. Therefore, old reconstructions of Platybelodon looked quite funny with its short trunk and unusual lower jaw. But is that the truth? In 1992, a study by David Lambert based on a close relative of Platybelodon, Amoebelodon, proposed a new way of thinking. According to David Lambert, Amoebelodon used its teeth in various ways. Based on the wear marks on Amoebelodon's teeth, it seems that it did not only use its lower jaw to dig, scoop, and shovel, but also to scrape tree bark and collect food from more diverse sources. Instead of a specialized diet, Amoebelodon used its special mouth to eat many things. Lambert also suggested that Platybelodon did not use its mouth in the single way that Osborne had imagined. Instead, he believed that Platybelodon used its unique lower jaw like a scythe. It would use its trunk to grip the tree trunk and then use its flat and beveled lower tusks to saw through the tree trunk. This would explain the beveled edges and sharpness of the lower tusks. With this hypothesis, Platybelodon's trunk would have to be longer than the old reconstructions, making it look more like modern elephants, except for the extremely special lower jaw. Of course, what Lambert proposed is just a new hypothesis, not the final conclusion about how Platybelodon and its relatives use their mouth structures. Previous hypotheses mostly failed to explain the strange lower jaw of Platybelodon, Amoebelodon, or any species in the Amoebelodontidae family. The only thing that is almost certain is that they were not creatures that liked to wade in mud in swamps or ponds just to eat aquatic plants, as we previously imagined. And what Lambert wanted to convey to us is, don't think that just because it looks like a shovel, it was used as a shovel. So why did Platybelodon and its relatives go extinct if they were creatures capable of diverse feeding instead of being picky? This is another thing that paleontologists cannot be sure of. Climate change leading to the disappearance of grasslands or competition from other herbivores are possible reasons that could explain the extinction of the shovel-tusked elephant lineage, but they are not enough to satisfy our curiosity. Today's video has come to an end. We sincerely thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow to stay updated with our latest contents. For now, goodbye and see you in our next videos.